Hello everyone. So the first year students of IIT Kharagpur have just arrived. And I believe that across the various other engineering institutes of India also the first year students have already arrived or are soon going to arrive. And I think this is a good time for me to share a few tips with you so that you can surmount some of the biggest challenges facing you in this first year of hostel life. Particularly note that my tips will be focused on the hostel life. All right. I think the biggest challenge that students face in their first year, particularly if they have never stayed in hostel before, is not to realize that the kind of routine which they had followed at home during their plus two is not going to work anymore. Okay, it is just not going to work. So what is going to work? So when I say like this, immediately your mind may go to the feeling that perhaps you should follow the kind of routine which some other students, some more experienced students have already been following, perhaps looking at your seniors or perhaps looking some of your batchmates who have stayed already in hostels as part of their coaching. But this also is a mistake. Okay, you have to realize that you have a certain unique personality. Okay, you have your own study habits that you are accustomed to from plus two. So if you suddenly and abruptly try to change your habits, you are going to fall flat in your face. Okay, so you're not supposed to do that. What you have to do is, and therefore you have to keep your eyes and ears very open to your own feelings, your own comfort level. You have to find your own, through this keeping your eyes and ears open, you have to find the routine which best suits you. I know this is much easier said than done because it definitely means that you have to go through a process of trial and error. Okay, you just cannot say that okay, such and such a routine is going to work for me. It is not. You may try something, you may fail. Okay, and the sooner you realize this and the sooner you go through this trial and process, the faster you'll be able to realize what actually works for you, what doesn't work for you. Please also note that I'm talking about this challenge as part of your first year. Do not think that whatever you feel and whatever you are comfortable with in your first year is going to stick through all the rest of the 3 or 4 years of your college life. Okay, so it may so happen that maybe you are comfortable with a certain routine in your first year, but that may no longer be true as you grow older. Okay, so it is a very dynamic process, this finding this best routine and habits which are suitable for you. So you have to be always in this entire journey of hostel life, starting from your first year, you always have to start adapting to the different changing circumstances. For example, you may see that some of the more experienced guys, they may have this habit of staying up very late at night. I mean, they have fun all through the afternoon and evening, and then it is only at late at night that they maybe do their assignments or maybe study a little bit or whatever they need to do, they do. Okay, now if you do not have that habit and you suddenly abruptly you try to stay late at night, it is absolutely not going to work. Okay, your health will fail, the next day will be a disaster. Okay, so even if you feel, okay, sometimes it may so happen that the circumstance demands that okay, you have to go for some kind of a severe change in your habits. Okay, for example, there are a few students who have the habit of during their plus two while staying at home of waking up very early in the morning and studying. That may not actually be possible in hostel life, because if everyone is awake at late into the night and maybe they are playing some loud music, and these are realities of hostel life. Okay, maybe they are talking, maybe they are playing some loud music. How are you going to sleep early, and then how are you going to wake up early? Which is why I always mention to my students that when you are in college life, okay, you have to find, like, you have to be your own guardian and decide things for yourself. You cannot, okay, you cannot listen to your parents blindly, especially if your parents have never had the experience of hostel life themselves. Because with all due respect to parents, it is a fact that people who have never stayed in hostel life never really realize what actually goes on in hostel life. Okay, the next thing is, the next biggest big challenge is that sometimes people just compare with themselves with others. Okay, please do not compare yourself with others. like there is like a meme or a joke running in India that your parents always compare yourself with the hypothetical Sharma ji ka beta, but there is actually a truth in this joke. So, and it is true for you yourself also. So when you are surrounded by so much talented people, you will find that inevitably there will always be someone who is better at you than in studies, better at you in sports, better at you in some kind of cultural abilities like singing, dancing, playing some kind of music, whatever. Okay, there'll always be someone better than you, and there'll always be these like super talented guys who are like multi-talented. Okay, they'll be good in academics, they'll be good in music, they'll be good in sports, and on top of that, to make you even more envious, they'll also be very good looking. Okay, so if you always compare yourself with others, like there is no end to it. Okay, and mind you, the most talented guy, he also, if he allows himself this thoughts that he or she will compare themselves with others, there'll always be someone in the world who will be more talented, more more capable. Okay, so what is the best route? The best route is always to compare yourself with what you were yesterday, what you were in the previous semester. So my suggestion, my simple, earnest suggestion to all of you is that stop comparing yourself with others. Just try to keep getting better yourself. Whatever you can achieve in this particular semester, in the next semester, just try to be better than that. Okay, so over the course of 8 semesters, and for the dual degree students over 10 semesters, if you can keep on improving on what you have achieved in your first semester, I think it will be a grand improvement. It seems rather silly to think of it like this, but I assure you, many students have followed this philosophy and have actually done very good for themselves. Okay, you also have to realize that sometimes when you see some people who are doing extremely well academically as well as non-academically, it is not something that they have, it is not that they have suddenly become super talented after coming to the IITs or the NITs or any other college. Okay, a lot of your personalities have already been molded, or a lot of your abilities and talents have already been molded and honed back at school. So perhaps somebody has had the good fortune and privilege of being in a big metropolitan city and going to some of the best colleges, best high schools in India. Then already he or she has an advantage. Maybe in that school there was some sort of training going on, maybe in music, maybe in sports. Perhaps you have not had that kind of a privilege back in your school. So he or she already has that advantage. Let him be. Okay, don't compare yourself with that. So sometimes it feels like there are so many societies, so many events going on, and are you always expected to be part of all of these, at least 3-4 of these societies? It is not like that. So these various societies in a campus are there because it caters to the varied interests, the multifarious interests of the various students. Okay, perhaps the only thing that you are good at is to just maybe read storybooks. Okay, it may be possible. You have no other talent, you don't know how to sing, dance, you don't even know how to play a musical instrument, you only like reading storybooks. That's the only hobby, so to speak, you have. Fine. Okay, it is absolutely fine. Do your studies, do your actual academic studies, and find a little time to maybe read even one book like in 1 month. That is good enough. Okay, like you are not beholden to anybody to show that you have such and such talent. Okay, if it is not there, it's not there. Who cares? Okay, so please do not feel that you owe anybody anything on the non-academic front. Okay, and mind you, if you keep on maintaining that, even that little hobby of yours, reading storybooks, you will find that inevitably you will find like-minded friends. Perhaps there is already some kind of literary society. Perhaps you can write a little bit for them, and as you grow older into your 2nd year, 3rd year, 4th year, perhaps you can join them. Okay, and do something which actually interests you. Okay, nobody is saying that you have to be good in music and sports and writing and all those things. No, just do one activity which is not fetching you marks, and that is enough. Finally, one of the biggest challenges of hostel life is the loss of privacy. So people who have spent the last 2 years at home, and who have never been part of a hostel life. So perhaps you are accustomed to studying all alone in a single room. Perhaps your parents were able to provide you such kind of privacy. You closed your doors and just studied all alone, or maybe even not studying, just spend some time alone in your house. That may not be actually possible in hostel life. Maybe you are, I mean, in most cases it is true that you are going to share your room with someone, maybe from some other state, completely different personality from yours, and it is going to be difficult. Okay, nobody ever said that it's going to be easy. So these are actual challenges which you have to face, which will actually help you to become an adult. At the same time, if, as I already said, if abruptly you try to face this head on, it may feel like a shock. So my suggestion is that if you really feel completely lost, completely like detached from your own inner self, maybe what you can start doing is start journaling. Journaling means writing a diary, maintaining a diary. Okay, put down your inner thoughts, maybe maintain like a daily diary or even a weekly diary. That should help a lot. Okay, plus I think it is not always good to be overly private. Okay, because this hostel life is an enormous opportunity for you to mingle with people of different personalities, and these are the kinds of situations which you'll inevitably have to face in a professional life. So when I was in first year, I faced this challenge that, like, if somebody was sitting in front of me, I found it even hard to think properly. Okay, I felt as if that person was looking into my thoughts. That is of course a misconception, but that is what I felt. But you see, now in a professional life you always have to stand on your feet and think in front of others. Okay, that is absolutely a requirement. So try to train yourself and get outside your comfort zone slowly. Okay, but as I said, initially you are going to feel it difficult, but try to get used to this thing. Okay, it happens to many of us. Finally, you may note that I have not said anything regarding the, at least not much regarding the academics. So I have already made a video earlier about some of the academic things about a year ago. I'm not going to repeat them here, except for one thing, that please note that in the semester system, you are not going to be able to learn the subject as they should be. Okay, like, it is the rather unfortunate thing about our semester system that you actually end up learning just courses, not the subjects. So whatever your professor teaches, the way he or she teaches, you try to absorb that to the best of your ability. Try to learn from the kind of notes and the lecture materials, the exact lecture materials, the specific things which he or she wants you to study. Okay, please do not think that one fine day you will open your book and then study properly from it like you used to do in your +2. Okay, that is not going to happen. That day will never come. So on this note, I think I've shared some of the biggest challenges, some of the tips associated with the biggest challenges, and I wish all of you the very best as you start your journey, this wonderful, this frightening journey of hostel life. Okay, all the very best to you. I'll see you around, and people who are at KGP, I really will see you around literally. Okay, all the very best. Thank you.